Tyler here with GPKnives, and we're back again to take a look at the Spyderco RockJumper. This is a new design from Spyderco founder Sal Glesser. We've got a fully flat ground Wharncliffe blade, black bi-directional textured FRN handle scales, a mid-back lock, and of course this is produced in Seki City, Japan. So in many ways, this is going to be similar to other Seki models, such as the Delica, the Endura, and the Indela. So you can see it here with the Wharncliffe Delica. One of the major differences with the RockJumper is the way that the ricasso and handle are designed to minimize the additional blade length that is not cutting edge. So you can see there's a very small amount there as opposed to the Delica here. And I'm going to line these up so you can see the blade length is nearly the same on these two, just a little bit longer on the RockJumper. But then when I line these cutting edges up, you can see that it's got a significant amount more cutting edge there. So a very efficient design. Blade stock thickness is just a little thinner on the Delica, as is the handle thickness. And then we'll take a look at the functional grip area. You can see a little larger on the RockJumper, and it's got a little more of a neutral design. So we're going to take a look at it here with a few different knives. I'm going to go ahead and grab the mid-sized Indela. So you can see pretty comparable in size here, just a little smaller on the RockJumper. But here again, line these cutting edges up, and you're looking at a pretty similar cutting edge. Obviously different profiles on here. We've got a drop point with pretty big belly on the Indela versus the straight edge of the RockJumper's Wharncliffe blade. Thickness is going to be the same on both handle and blade. And another major difference on the RockJumper is the lack of jimping here on the thumb ramp. So you still can put a fair amount of pressure on there, but there's no jimping. So it doesn't have quite the same level of traction. But this is also going to prevent any unintentional wear from jimping, especially if you're carrying this as a hiker or rock climber, where certain protective gear is something you don't want to have coming into contact with any abrasive materials. So your rope or slings are not going to get rubbed by any aggressive jimping if they come into contact with the spine of this knife. Functional grip area, again, these two are going to be pretty close. Let me go ahead and set this down. And I'm going to grab the stretch, which at first glance doesn't have much in common with the RockJumper. Much different designs visually and from a practical perspective. But if you look at the way these handles are designed, you get a very similar handle design from behind the choil down to the rest of the handle. So a little more neutral than some of the other Seki production knives. So you can see the difference here more clearly. You get some points here on the handle that are going to kind of control where your grip is fit versus this more streamlined and neutral handle. Look at this again. So you can see just a little bit shorter in cutting edge. Functional grip area is going to be fairly similar on these two. And again, same blade stock and handle thickness. And here's a quick shot of the group together so you can kind of get a feel for where the RockJumper sits, being the second smallest overall, but having probably the most efficiency in cutting edge to blade length of any of the Seki models. Because you can see the specific design here has allowed the maximum amount of cutting edge with the minimum amount of blade above the edge of the handle. And another quick comparison, I have it with the Wharncliffe Delica and then the Benchmade Bug Out here on the right. So we'll jump over here. Blade length is just a little longer on the Bug Out. And similarly, the cutting edge length. Functional grip area, very similar on these two. You got the blade stock thickness, which is going to be a bit more robust on the RockJumper. It's going to be a great outdoor knife for hiking, camping, and of course rock climbing, and probably a variety of other outdoor tasks, as well as being a nice urban carry knife. Functional grip area. Of course, the footprint is going to be a fair bit wider on the RockJumper given the Wharncliffe blade and Spyderco round hole. But all in all, this knife carries fairly well. And I don't know for certain, but given the smoothness of deployment on this, I would guess that this has an upgraded bushing pivot, or else it is just one of the smoothest backlock folders that I've seen. And a great feature of this design as well, for many who are familiar with using a mid backlock, is that there is still plenty of ricasso here to close the knife one-handed in this fashion by dropping the blade ricasso onto the index finger and then finishing the closure like that. So as you can see, you're still plenty safe to close this one-handed, as there is a very large ricasso. It just sits farther down in the handle. A few other features of this knife: you have no void dent on the back here, so just a little bit different design in terms of unlocking, but still very safe. You can grip this knife very strongly in the hand without fear of disengaging that lock. As you can see, you got to push it fairly deeply into the handle to disengage. You've got a nice oversized lanyard hole here in the back. So compared to the standard lanyard hole on the Secchi production, you get a smaller carabiner in here for attaching this to a harness, or run a nice piece of paracord lanyard through there for carry and added security and use. You've also got a deeper clip position than the standard Secchi production, so this is going to be a little more discreet in carry as far as use as an EDC. And here you can see the RockJumper in my pocket. The position of the clip puts a fair amount of the knife below the line of the pocket while allowing for enough real estate for smooth draw. The knife carries very well thanks to its slim profile, and while the footprint is a bit wider, it does still allow easy access to other items in the pocket. The knife deploys fast and smooth and offers a 4-position clip for left or right hand carry and deployment, as well as tip up or down preference. Overall, the knife is a great size and design for daily carry in outdoor and urban environments. Again, this is Tyler with GPKnives and the Spyderco RockJumper. You can check it out now at GPKnives.com. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and stay sharp. If you like what you've seen today and you'd like to see more, follow us on social media, like the video below, and subscribe to our YouTube channel feed for updates on all new products.